Yeah, Trey, you've got some
Okay,
noise in there
YouTube
and a little
folks.
bit of washing.
Sorry about the rough start
You'll
here.
get
We're a little
this.
bit late, and
Atlanta
but
285
it's just the normal
WRTN
chaos
234
around here.
clear.
And as soon as the radio clears up, we're going to kick things into gear.
Atlanta 287 WRMZ 254, be clear.
Here we go. Good evening, and welcome to the North Georgia GMRS Regional Net. Tonight I'll be working off of the flagship repeater, but we'll be linked in with the following machines: Lookout Mountain, Somerville, Noonan, Columbus, McDonough, Crawford, Zebulon, Jersey, Moreland, and the VOIP Zello group will be also linked in tonight. There's something I'm trying to say and I don't know what it is. We'll figure it out. Let's get this thing going. Tonight our RF coverage is approximately 31,000 square miles. The net takes place every Thursday evening at 7:30 p.m. or later. Sorry about that. I would like to thank everyone who has made the North Georgia GMRS the most expansive and active GMRS network in the country. Your net control tonight is Atlanta 946, WQIR 514. My name is Justin, and I'm located at Woodstock, Georgia. Let me break. On the net, you can talk about your day's activities, radio equipment, or anything you think we'd like to hear about. This is a family-based network, so we encourage you to get your family involved. Once the floor is open, it is permissible to address other members of the net by their name or tactical unit number. Your FCC call sign is only required when you sign in and sign out of the net. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge our early check-ins. So stay tuned. And Trey, I did get you in there. I just, for some reason, when it was time to acknowledge check-ins, I skipped over you. So stand by, and let me get through this list of check-ins real quick, and then we'll take additional check-ins. Let me break. Okay, we'll go through this list fairly quickly, so try to listen close, and we'll try to get through it quick. Atlanta 285, CV Smith in Murrayville is in and out tonight. Thank you, CV. I know you got a busy weekend, as well as Atlanta 286, Lynn in Murrayville, in and out tonight. Thank you both for your check-ins. Atlanta 948, Gary in Woodstock is in and out tonight. Thank you, Gary. We have Chattanooga 69, Ronnie, Lookout Mountain is in and out tonight. Thank you, Ronnie. We have Atlanta 253, Donald in Blairsville, also in and out. Thank you, Donald, for your check-in. We have McDonough 39, which I haven't gotten around to looking up. Let me see if I can find McDonough 39 real quick. I know I said I'd go through this quickly, and I'm trying. So that is, I show that as Bruce Holmes in Stockbridge. If that is incorrect, we'll fix it later, but for now, that's what I have in my log. McDonough 39, Bruce, thank you for checking in and out tonight. Next we have Atlanta 180. Mike in Cherry Log will be first up, and he is the first one who is not in and out. So Mike, nice play. Right where we wanted you to be anyway. Nobody wants to talk to me this evening. Everybody's checking in and out, and that's okay. We can we're still glad to have the entries in the log, and quite frankly, this would be a good night for a quick net. I've got a lot of family stuff going on, and it was touch and go as to whether I was even going to be able to make the net tonight. So thank you, Mike, for that check-in. Atlanta 403, Bobby in White County. Bobby, hopefully the live stream behaves tonight. It looks like it's a little bit choppy on the playback side for the live stream, but I think when we play it back later, it'll be smooth. But time will tell. Atlanta 780, Houston in Powder Springs. Thank you, Houston, for your check-in tonight. Looking forward to talking with you. McDonough 22, Tim in Stockbridge. Looking forward to chatting with you, Tim. McDonough 32, Lance in McDonough. I've got you in a log as in and out. Thank you for that check-in, Lance. Atlanta 138, Robert in Auburn at band practice. In and out. Thank you for that check-in, Robert. Alfred in Griffin, in and out. I haven't gotten that TAC number assigned there yet, Alfred, but I will get it. Don't you worry. Thank you for your check-in tonight. It's great to hear from you. Atlanta 770. I missed the name, but I've got you in Ackworth, in and out, and I'll let me see if I can find that real quick. Let's just get this taken care of so that we don't have to try to clean up later. Atlanta 770. It was a challenging night for check-ins tonight with doubles and that sort of thing. But let's see here. We've got 770 is, we're getting closer. I'm in the 500s, the 600s, the 700s, and that looks like James. 770, James in Ackworth. Okay, James, we've got you in here. Thank you for your check-in. I've got you in and out tonight. Let's see. That would be spelled with a J. All right, James. Atlanta 402. 402, Todd incoming is in and out tonight. Atlanta 700, Ricardo in Snellville. I've got you in and out tonight. I wonder if that's correct. Ricardo, I'm going to go ahead and mark you as in and call on you later. If you're not available, that's okay. I just want to be sure that I didn't miss somebody who meant to be in. Atlanta 810, John in Dawsonville, taking care of the sick little ones there. Hope that you can get them back to good health quickly, and family first. Next I have Atlanta 293, Russell in Beaufort, in and out. And I have Columbus 10, Brady in Columbus. Brady, I've got you in. If that's not correct, then we'll just figure it out when we get to you. Atlanta 721, David in Southwest Paulding. I've got you in, David. Looking forward to talking with you. Atlanta 738, Carl in Ackworth, in and out. Carl, it's great to hear from you. Atlanta 516, Ray in Canton is in and out. Thank you for your check-in tonight, Ray. Atlanta 76, David in Duluth. I've got you in. You might be at work, so we'll see what happens when we call you. Atlanta 91, Eric in Maumelle, Arkansas, in and out. Eric, thanks for that long-distance check-in. It's great to hear from you. Hope all is well on your end of the world, and hope that you enjoyed tonight's program. I have Atlanta 22. 22, let's see. That's going to be the other way on the list. Okay, we're getting there. Atlanta 22 is Dan in Ackworth. Dan, I've got you in the log. Thank you for that check-in. I think there was a double going on, Dan, and that's why I didn't catch that. But maybe the other possibility is that I was just busy with trying to catch up with a previous check-in, and sometimes that happens too, where I'm thinking one name and typing it, and then somebody else calls out, and I just completely miss it. But the one that I did miss earlier is Atlanta 287, Trey in Murrayville. Trey, I've got you in here. I've got you in and out, and I appreciate your check-in tonight. Sorry that I glossed over your check-in when I acknowledged earlier, but you're in here. Atlanta 750, Jeff in Waleska is in and out. And Atlanta 434, Ron incoming is in and out. And that is the end of my early bird check-ins. Holy cow, we've got 29, so that's a great start. And at this time, let's go ahead and open up for any additional check-ins. And we'll take check-ins from any repeater anywhere. So we're looking for first-time users, guests, and visitors to the area. This would be anyone with a GMRS license but is not a member of North Georgia GMRS. You're welcome to check in as a guest. And also any other regular members on any of our repeaters anywhere. Check-ins are wide open, especially youth check-ins. We'd love to hear from our membership youth. So Net Control standing by for check-ins. Please call now.
Attitude 58, WREC 529. Bill on Lookout Mountain, in and out. Tornado 100, WRNL 965, Bob in Ringgold, checking in. And we tried to check in before, and 101 came on the air and checked in and out herself, but I'm going to check 101, Tammy, in and out. But I'm checking in.
This is Atlanta 57, WQZC 82, Andrew in Holly Springs. Going to be in and out this evening. Just got back from being out of town. Good evening, everyone.
Atlanta 220, WRKL 249, in and out.
This is WRAH 210,
Atlanta 442, Craig and Ackworth. Check me in and out tonight, Justin. Y'all have a good night.
Net control, this is Atlanta 420 WRFS 771, William in Roswell. I'll be checking in and out, but we'll be monitoring the net there. Have a great night, everyone. Great to hear all the check-ins.
This is Atlanta 829 WRNV 619. New user Lonnie in Powder Springs checking in and out.
And N790, John Griffin, in and out.
Okay, so once again I have fallen behind, so I'm going to stall for time while I look up a couple of these check-ins and get the information entered into the log. So if you will bear with me here for just a moment while I do some of that, and let me see if I can think and talk at the same time. And our topic this evening is going to be go bags and go boxes and bug out bags, equipment that you want to have handy and ready in an emergency scenario. So with that in mind, I just wanted to make mention that I don't really have anything like that. I've got a handful of HTs. If it was a matter of grab a bag quick, get in the car, we got to go right now, there's no time to pack, there's no time to plan, there's no time to, then my emergency equipment is what's in the car. That's what I have. I don't have, typically there's an HT in the car, and I've kind of gotten in the habit that if I'm going to put an HT in there, I'm going to also put the charger for it in there. Just because I've come to a couple of occasions where I've had a radio that I've gone to use and it's dead, or I go to use it and I run it dead without a way to charge it while I'm in the field. And so I've learned that it's not enough to have an HT in a bag. You need to have the accessories that go with it. So I also have a small bag that I throw my programming discs and my jump drives and my programming cables in, so that I can have that stuff fairly easily, readily handy. I guess I should maybe just put that bag in my laptop case, because I'm gonna, anytime I use that stuff, I'm also going to be using the laptop. So that could be important stuff to incorporate as well. So I'm still typing in some entries here in the log because I just didn't get them. I just was behind on the check-ins as they came. So I'm stalling still. But we'll go ahead and acknowledge what we have here. I think that might have been. Give me 1 second to see if I can verify this this particular check-in. Yeah, that was Jason in Rome, I believe. Okay, so all I heard, Jason, was Rome. I literally didn't catch any other part of your transmission, but the voice sounded familiar, and so I'm going to call that Jason in Rome, and I'm going to show you as in and out Jason. Hope that that is correct. So let me go back and acknowledge this group of check-ins. I had, let's see, did we talk about Atlanta? Yeah, we did. Atlanta 434 Ron incoming, in and out. And that brings us next to Chattanooga 58 Bill on the Lookout Mountain machine is in and out. And we have Chattanooga 100, I believe that is Bob, is in with us this evening. Bob, looking forward to chatting with you here in just a little bit. And I also have Chattanooga 101. I wish I'd heard her. I'm a little disappointed that I missed that, but so it was probably during one of those pile-ups. So, but I've got her in the log as in and out, so thank you for that, Bob. I appreciate that. I've got Atlanta 57 Andrew in Holly Springs, in and out. Awesome to hear from you tonight, Andrew. I've got Atlanta 220 Robert in Williamson in the log tonight. And I've got Atlanta 442 Craig in Ackworth. Craig, I got a feeling you said in and out, but I don't have you marked that way. I'm going to call on you, Craig, and if you're not there, that's okay. We'll just move on. I've got Atlanta 313. I put 312 in the log. Atlanta 313, Jason in Rome. Let me fix that real quick. And I've got you in the log, Jason, as in and out. I've got Atlanta 420, William in Roswell, in and out. Thank you, William, for your check-in tonight, monitoring and listening, and hope that you enjoy the program. And I've got Atlanta 829, Lonnie in Powder Springs. I spelled that wrong. Lonnie, I've got you in the log as in and out. Welcome to North Georgia GMRS. It's great to have you as part of the group, and we'll see how the evening progresses. Hope to have you back. Next, I have John in Griffin, in and out. John, I missed the very first part of your transmission. I'm not sure why, but it may be, and this is a tip for all of us because we are on a linked network. And when you key the microphone, sometimes the link radios need a moment to all connect. So when you key the microphone, the repeater hears you immediately and will begin to function pretty immediately. There's almost no delay there. But where the delay is when the radio, the repeater connects to the Raspberry Pi, and then the Raspberry Pi connects to the cloud, and then the cloud connects to the server, and then the server connects to the cloud again, and all the other Raspberry Pis, and then those devices connect finally to the associated linked repeaters. All of that takes just a brief moment to happen, and because of that, a lot of times, especially over a linked path, we can lose the first one or two syllables of a sentence or a statement. I don't know if that's what happened, John, but I missed your tactical unit number and your call sign. So if you don't mind, John, come back with your TAC number. I would certainly appreciate that. John and Griffin. John and Griffin, if you would please come back with your tactical unit number.
This is John. It's WRNN 790.
Fantastic, John. Okay, I've got that. WRNN 790. I've got you in the log in and out. It's great to have you as part of the program this evening. Thank you for coming back to me. All right, so I'm caught up on the log at this point. Do we have any additional check-ins before we get started?
This is Darwin C. 853, Atlanta 252, Shad, Emerson, Georgia, checking in.
Is Stacy going to check in? She usually does. But maybe not tonight. Okay. All right, Atlanta 252, Shad in Emerson. I've got you in here. So we've got a great place to start. And we'll go ahead and kick things in gear from right where we stand. So like I was saying, go boxes and bug out bags, things that we are going to have, prepared and ready that we can grab and be able to deploy in the field rapidly and without having to rely on other things. So a self-contained system of sorts. It could be a mobile radio installed on a Pelican case or an ammo can. It could be just a bag full of HTs. It could be, whatever communications devices that you think are essential to have in a worst case scenario. you didn't have time to properly pack and execute an orderly departure. So with that, let's go ahead and jump right into things, and we'll go through. Let's see, our first non-in and out check-in tonight is Atlanta 180 Mike in Cherry Log. Mike, do you have a go box or a bug out bag? I didn't hear very much of that, Mike, but I did hear you say that you do not have a go box. It sounded like you were trying to explain that you do have some alternative means of emergency scenario communications, and maybe that's just the mobile units in your car, like me. And like I said, I do tend to keep an HT in the vehicle, but that's just not the same thing as that's assuming that if I have to get out of here that I'm not on foot. And let's face it, this chubby old man isn't going to get very far on foot. If I have to bug out through the woods, I'm not going to be very happy about that. And if that's something that has to happen, that had better not be for more than a few hours, because I am not someone who is going to function well in the rugged environment. So and so I don't provision for that, because that scenario is not one that is workable for me. I'm going to have to jump in the car and get someplace, and if I can't get someplace in the car, then I'm going to be in trouble, and that's just the way it is. So good stuff, Mike. I wish that we had better comms on you. Hopefully we'll have Blue Ridge linked in very soon. I'm looking forward to that occasion, and we'll see how things go. Next on my list, I have Atlanta 780 Houston in Powder Springs. Houston, do you have a go box? I bet you do. And do you have any sort of a bug out bag for an emergency scenario?
All right, good evening, Justin. Good evening to the rest of the net. Yes, sir. I've got 2 regular to-go boxes with Kenwood TK880s in them, and batteries and antennas you can set out. And I've never used them, but they're there. They're charged up. My main to-go box is 30 foot long, and I pull it around behind my truck, if that tells you anything.
Well, I like that. A 30-foot long go box with nothing but the essential items for comfort and convenience. Because comfort and convenience is essential, is that not right?
Yes, sir, yes. Well, right now we're having to live in it, but yeah, we just built the to-go boxes just to see if we could, and just to have something to talk about and use if we was out on the lake or out camping or something. Of course, I've got them in the camper now and mounted, so don't really have to have that, but it's a good thing to have, I guess. There's a lot of uses for them, not just in case the world turns upside down, but you can grab one and carry it with you if you go camping or go out somewhere where there's not a radio, and you're going to be there for quite a while. You can have something with you, but that's a good thing.
Yeah, and that's something that I've been kind of kicking around here. Well, 947's been interested in building a go box for a long time. And it's just one of those projects that we talk about but we never execute. And we've got a couple different ammo cans here, and I got one that's fairly large, and I think that I could actually mount maybe I'd like to get a hold of another VHF radio and build one that's got both VHF and HF capabilities, or UHF and HF, so that I could do GMRS and some ham stuff. I don't know that in a bug out scenario that I have a lot of interest in HF, although I can see where it could be valuable in terms of getting news and information from around the world. But in an emergency situation, I think that I want to be more in tune with what's going on around me than what's going on, in the rest of the realm. So that I think is going to be an important aspect of a Go box. So it is something that we've actively got on our minds. We've sourced a couple of batteries. In fact, I bought a battery for a different purpose. I have one of those jump start boxes that the battery has failed in, and I wanted to renew it because other than having a weak battery, that jumpstart box has been phenomenal, and it has been very effective for us, and the battery was only like $35. So I've got that battery, and I intend to put that jumpstart box back together very soon, maybe even this weekend. But I'm thinking about purchasing another one of those batteries because it was only $35, and it's an 18 amp hour battery, and for that amount of money and that size of a battery, that would give you a considerable amount of operating time in a field. So I think that could be a very useful tool, and looking forward to that project. I think 947 would enjoy hands-on in a project of that nature as well. So we've got a couple of Pelican cases that we're thinking of using for that, and I've also got a couple of ammo cans. I haven't decided which way to go. What would you recommend?
Well, either one is good. I just have the ammo cans. I think I've got them from Harbor Freight. It's not the biggest, but I think one of them I've got a UHF and VHF radio. I've got two radios in it, and in the top part of it I've got a handheld and charger, and I think I know there is. There's a battery, a power supply, and a battery in it. So it just depends on how big you want to get, how much you want to tote around, I guess. But if you would this evening, go ahead and check me out when we get through, Justin. I'm going to have to make some other phone calls.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and do that, Houston. I'm going to go ahead and show you as in and out of the log, and when I let off of the key, I'm going to give you an opportunity to go ahead and come on the air and clear, and that way you can get on with other things. I completely get it. I've got a handful of things going on myself this evening, and in fact, I'm going to go ahead and give you folks fair warning. If my phone rings, I will go off the air to answer it. There's some stuff going on with the family right now, and if I get a call, it's going to get answered, and I'll try to get back to the radio as fast as I can. So if that happens, if I disappear tonight, then I would implore that you would continue the conversation and just round robin and take turns and do the best you can without me. But I'm hopeful that we've got the situation at hand where I don't think I'll get any more calls until tomorrow morning. But who knows? So with that fair warning, probably should have said something sooner, but I hope that nothing happens and we can finish this thing out without a problem. But Houston, I'm going to break so you can clear, and we'll move on to Tim.
All right, Justin. Thank you, and thank the rest of the net. Atlanta 780 WQUV 439. I'll be clear.
All right, Houston. Thanks for checking in tonight and sticking in with us. McDonough 22, Tim in Stockbridge. I'm guessing your Go plan is an HT, but maybe you'll surprise me. Do you have a box?
Oh, you know me too well, Justin, evidently. No, I do not have a Go box, not a radio one anyway, and not yet. And I do have 3 HTs. I have the 2 B-Tech V1s, and I've got the Radiolity. And the good thing about the Radiolity is it charges on a USB-C. So any phone charger, that will take a cord with a USB-C on it in your car or truck or vehicle, or even one of those battery booster boxes that you're talking about, you can plug plug your radiology into that and charge it. And so I have 2 extra batteries for the GM30 now, and I have 2 or 3 at least for the BTEC V1s. And I've got the mobile Kenwood, and it's great. So I do have kind of a go bag set up for survival stuff. I've got knife, compass, I got food, and water filter things to last me for several days, at least 4 or 5 days probably, if the cow pies ever hit the circular rotating device there. So,
not hearing anything from Ricardo. Let's go ahead and move on. Next on my list is Columbus 10, Brady. Brady, do you have any? Do you have a go box for your radios, or a collection of stuff that you could throw in a bag?
Yes, I do. I'm going to have to disagree with your opinion on HF and emergency.
Hey Brady, I heard that you were saying you're going to disagree with my opinion on HF for emergencies, and then we lost you. I'd love to hear the rest of that statement. Can you come back? Columbus 10, we seem to have lost you. Are you still there? All right, Columbus 10, we've lost you completely. I'm not hearing you at all. So we're going to go ahead and move on. But if you have the opportunity to jump back in here later, I would absolutely love to continue the conversation and hear your opinions with regard to HF. I'm sure that many others would like to hear that as well. So we're looking forward to finishing up this conversation. But for the time being, I'm going to go ahead and move on to Atlanta 721. David in Southwest Paulding. David, do you have a go box or a bag that you can grab for a quick escape?
Good evening, Justin. Good evening to everyone on the net. I've got what I call just a little get-home gadget bag. It's something I put together. I was caught up in the Rodney King riots downtown Atlanta many, many years ago and realized I needed to have a little more on me in case it went further south. And then the best example is snowpocalypse.
Yeah.
Just having something with you. Military MREs are not good to keep in the vehicle. They lose, they go bad in heat or cold. A Mountain House is perfect. They last a long time in your vehicle. Just keep a couple of those, on hand in my truck just in case. I've actually ate them for lunch, when I can't get out. Let me break. But being able to have something on hand just in case, I think is everybody's responsibility. Anything from an extra lighter, to just, what have you. You need to have something with you. And it's not some Discovery Channel doomsday prepper type thing. It's your responsibility as a citizen or an individual to be able to take care of yourself, because when anything goes down, you are your first responder.
Well, that is an excellent point, and yes, to have some basic provisions to deal with your immediate needs and your family's needs, basic stuff. It just like you say with snowpocalypse. I had no provision for transportation. I relied on a bus to get into town that day, and when that hit, the boss was saying, "You go right now, get on a bus." It was too late. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and things were already getting shut down. And I thought, the last thing I want to do is be out there in the elements, in circumstances I can't control, Whereas if I stay here in a building, I have a warm building, I have, a refrigerator, and I have vending machines, and I have, I keep canned goods and stuff in the office, because you never know when you're going to end up opening up a can of Chef Boyardee instead of being able to go to lunch. So I've always been one to keep a few of those things in the office anyway. So I had food, I had water, I had a restroom, I had a warm, dry space to occupy. Whereas you get into a bus and you don't have a lot of that. And if the bus were to run out of fuel or be incapacitated in some way, you might not even have a warm seat. So I chose to stay put, and oddly enough, it was my boss that spent 18 hours on a bus trying to get home during snowpocalypse, while I remained comfortably warm with a reasonable set of accommodations available to me. I didn't have a soft place to lay down and sleep, but other than that, I was in pretty good shape. So. Yeah, we have to be responsible and make choices and be capable of taking care of ourselves in emergency situations. It's a good point.
Another thing to add was that I don't want to walk on you. Hardened Power Systems has got an adapter that slides onto a 12 or 15 amp hour battery, and it's called the BATPAC BATPAC M4. It's got two of the Anderson power pole connectors and USB, and in a pinch, if you're in a building, you can resupply batteries off of fire alarm boxes or emergency batteries that also have those type of batteries. That's what I'm working on doing, is a little Pelican box myself.
And that's a big consideration in today's world is power for our gadgets, power for our phones and our laptops and our tablets, and because of the information that's available. And we assume that if something happens, that we're going to lose Wi-Fi, we're going to lose cellular, we're going to lose these communications protocols. But it could be something as simple as being stranded in a building or a vehicle for hours, rather than the entire network being down. So it is good to have alternative means of resupplying power for some of these devices. And I remember seeing the hardened power devices at one of the ham fests, and they look like they're fairly well made and well thought out. And I think that part of the premise from that, and you mentioned charging from a fire alarm panel, is that they can be charged from just about anything, from what I understand. So and the way that often works, there's a thing called a buck converter, a DC to DC converter. You can take 5 volts DC and you can turn that into 13.8 volts DC to charge a battery. You lose current when you gain the voltage. So if you only have 5 amps of 5 volts DC available, you won't have 5 amps of 12 volts DC available. You'll have a little less than 2. So you're not going to have you're going to lose the current when you boost the voltage. That's the price that you pay, because energy isn't necessarily universal that way. So you'll have to take that sacrifice. But yet, even though it may take longer to charge, you can still get a charge out of various voltages if you have a device that is designed to buck a voltage up or down. And that's a neat thing too, is those things are often capable of a range of voltages. So you can not only charge a 12 volt battery system off of 5 volts DC, but you can also charge it off of maybe 30 volts DC. And with that being the case, you have a much greater range of possibilities and opportunities to keep your small electronics powered in those kind of situations. And yeah, when the power goes out, we're going to find all kinds of things that have batteries in them that might not be compatible with our radios, but may be able to be sacrificed in order to give power to our radios. So, I mean, one of the things that I would consider is, if you're in some sort of a commercial building, is grab the batteries out of all of the emergency exit lights. You get lots of amp hours of battery from those things, if you thought you were going to need them. But don't wait too long, because those things will be dead in 2 or 3 hours, 4 or 5 hours, depending on what type of a light bulb are in them. If they're LED, they may last a lot longer, but the ones that I'm familiar with were all incandescent. So yeah, that's definitely worth consideration. That was from Hardened Power Products, and I've seen those devices, so I'm sure we can all Google that and find more information about it. Good stuff, David. I'm going to go ahead and move on. Next on my list here is the other David, Atlanta 76. David in Duluth was working tonight. But I'm going to see, because I don't remember he was in and out or not, so I'm going to see if David is hanging out with us and if he has any comments. David, do you have an emergency radio Go box set up? All right, we're not hearing anything from David, so we're going to go ahead and show David as in and out this evening and move right along to, next on my list is Atlanta 22, Dan in Ackworth. Dan, do you have any Go box equipment set up so that you can operate in an emergency scenario? Okay, we're also going to show Dan as in and out, hearing nothing from him, and move next to Chattanooga 100. Bob in, I believe that's, I missed the location, but I believe it's Ringgold. I'm going to put that in here until somebody tells me it's wrong. Bob, do you have a Go box or a bug out bag you'd like to talk about?
Hi, Justin. Thank you. Yes, that is Ringgold, and hello, everybody else. I actually have a few points I'd like to talk about. I've been adding things to my notes here throughout the net, so hopefully I can get to them all. Let me start with your jump start box. I've got one of those too from Pop Station later. And it comes in handy. I've not jump started in my own car, but I've helped some people out jump starting a car. There was one time where I was starting to dig for my jumper cables, and I looked at my truck and I'm like, I got the jump start box. That's much easier. So that worked out a few times. I mainly use it to keep my tires inflated on the road. And I did just change the battery in it here in the last few months, like you did or you're about to. It's that 18 amp hour battery, and there was a little surprise, so I don't know if you've gotten to that yet, but the terminals on most of the 18 amp hour batteries that you get are inset slightly, like 3/4 of an inch from the edge, but the lugs that connect them really need the clearance of having those terminals right on the edge of the battery. So I don't know where you get such battery. I'm going to break. Yeah, I know if anybody's interested on Facebook, there's a picture of my temporary base setup that I have that's on and off, and I'm using it. The next point was your guns and food neighbor story. I'm as cynical as they come, and probably is bad that is true. But maybe we can work towards maybe getting together as the neighborhood and plan in for emergencies rather than just having guns. I'm not anti-gun or anything, but maybe community is helping each other out. Hopefully there's some of that out there too. I'm gonna break. I don't have a bug out bag, but I have a bug out car that's about the size of the bag. It might be a little comical with the Honda Fit, but I've started stocking a lot of stuff in there for emergencies, basic tools, inverter, going to matches. I've got a chainsaw, fire extinguisher, that I carry around. But I transfer a lot of that stuff to my wife's car, which is bigger, that we can, when we're all together, road trip or anything like that. And now I have a radio in the car, so that covers a lot of the emergency situations, I think. I did think of in the meantime that, like I said, that jumper kit box, is in the car also. But if anybody's not aware, run-flat tires, they make run-flat tires now that work on standard rims, so my wife's got that on her car. On the brake. I think that's a good emergency thing to have, along with the jump start kit, larger scheme of emergency preparedness, I guess. Not having to worry about, your flat tire when you're parking the kitchen or something like that is a great comfort. Great. And ultimately, to the GoBox radio. I feel like it's a rite of passage. I'm new to the radio hobby, but I am excited about building one. I've already actually got a lot of the bits and baubles for it. Some I had, like a 9 amp hour 8-year battery I have. Not Pelican cases, but the hazard brought has those Apache cases, which are just awesome. The main thing I was going back and forth about in the beginning was whether it's the smallest I could make it or as feature rich as I could make it. So I'm going with the second smallest, the next larger size up of the Apache cases. With the battery that I have, the radio, charger, power supply, and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to building that. I'm going to break and let you comment there, Justin, and you can send it back to me if you think you got the time.
Well, good stuff, Bob, and yeah, a lot of great comments. Community is a great one. I think that in a lot of cases, a lot of that might go straight out the window if there were a true emergency scenario that involved, massive earthquake, flooding, severe weather, or any other kind of an emergency that would cause us to leave our home. The community thing might not work out too well because you have to be in the community for that to work, and so that could be its own hazard. But at the same time, I'm right there with you. I'm not prepared. We were joking the other night. Julie had commented, why are you talking about prepping when we don't have any prepping provisions around here? If something serious were to happen, we would be in a lot of trouble. I said, what are you talking about? We got all the prepping stuff we need. We got a bag of rice. And we do have more than a bag of rice, and we would be fine for a couple of weeks. What we would not be fine for is a 6-month apocalyptic end of the world scenario. If we had to get by for 2 weeks without being able to go to the grocery store, it might not be comfortable, but we're not going to starve. If we had to get by for 6 weeks, again, it would be far less comfortable, but we're not going to starve. 6 months, I don't have it. I can't do it. We got to figure something out, and I have to believe that inside of 6 weeks we would have things figured out. We would have transportation problems sorted out. We would have, maybe we don't have all the comforts available, but we would have something. So that's my mindset, and that's where we're at. So. But, if someone's thinking they're going to come and take my provisions away, you're going to get some rice, and you're going to get some beans, and you're going to get some canned goods, and whatever hasn't thawed in the freezer. So that's not going to be a very good plan. I don't have enough stuff here to provision for the neighborhood or for the community. So, you all got to do some things to take care of yourselves, and it's like David had said earlier, personal responsibility. And we have to have enough to take care of ourselves, so that if something does happen, we're not a burden on those who have provisioned and have stocked up resources and things of that nature. They've done that for themselves. They didn't do that for us. So need to be respectful of that, and be prepared to take care of ourselves. So good stuff. And you made a lot of good points too, Bob, with regards to radios and charging and having those accessories, and that's something that I've learned. It's important. It's not enough to just carry an HT. And I know that Tim McDonough 22 has a plethora of spare batteries. He tries to keep spare batteries available for his radios, charged up and ready to go, so that if he gets through the middle of a day and he's running out of battery, he can just swap batteries and finish the day, no sweat. That's his plan, and whether he realizes it or not, he's done a certain amount of prepping to be able to meet that need. And let me break here real quick. So with that in mind, we all need to be mindful of our power requirements, because that's kind of a changing thing in the world of being prepared. It's not enough just to be able to have a radio. That radio is useless if you don't have a way to power it, and so we have to take those things into consideration as well. Thank you for your comments, Bob, and there was a bunch more in there. I would invite you to check out the live stream, and we did have a little interruption partway through there, but check out the live stream so you can hear your audio, and see if you can find a way to improve your signal for the net, because for a long conversation it's tough to follow all of it through the noise. Next on my list is Atlanta 5-7, Andrew in Holly Springs. Andrew is in and out tonight. Lots going on, just getting home from vacation, and so not only is he probably exhausted, but unpacking the car and getting settled in. Hopefully Andrew's able to listen this evening, but welcome home, Andrew, and we'll catch up with you very soon. And that brings me next to Atlanta 220, Robert in Williamson. Robert, I've got you in log. Do you have a bug out bag or a go box prepared for an emergency situation?
Not at this point, but I keep telling the wife we need to do something. Even though I do have a little stash here or there, despite her feelings, she thinks that everything will be fine, but I err on the side of caution.
Robert, I completely agree with your wife's perceptions that everything will be fine, and I really believe that to be the truth, that there's nothing that's going to happen that's going to affect our supply chain in a way that we can't go and grab a carton of eggs and a loaf of bread at the supermarket. Until last year, man. With the toilet paper issue, and then the fresh meat issue, and then all the cleaning supplies were gone for months and months and months, and it was just amazing to me that all of these supply chain interruptions, not only they're still going on. You can still today, you can walk into your supermarket and find that they're out of stock, completely out of stock, not only on a product, but all the products within that range or group of products. And it's like, for instance, peanut butter. You ever notice that almost any brand of peanut butter comes in the same jar? The peanut butter jars are, you get into some of the what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? The high-end stuff, the stuff that's not made with the the conventional manufacturing process. But when you're talking about the Skippy and the Jif and the generic brands of peanut butter and the store brands of peanut butter, they all come in the same jar. It's the exact same peanut butter jar with a different label on it, but it's the same jar. Not only is it the same jar, it's the same jar being filled on the same production line with the same packing equipment, with different labels that go into those jars. They are coming out of the same factory. Now, they're not necessarily the same formulation. It's not the same product, but they're being manufactured in the same place. And so if that place has a problem that interrupts production, they're interrupting production perhaps for many, many brands. And so it can be a very widespread problem with just one simple thing. Like for instance, they can't get a truck to show up to pick up at the factory to haul the material to the distribution center. That can be the thing that breaks the camel's back. Today, our supply chain is so taxed and so limited in so many ways, and then we regulate it even further to the place where any one little thing that happens can just break it. And we're still seeing ripple effects of that from the pandemic that occurred. It hasn't gone away completely yet. And time and again, I'll go into the store and I'll see that, they don't have this or they don't have that. I've been in the Walmart store here recently and noticed that their entire bread aisle is wiped out. I thought the pandemic was over, and here they are in this far past that and still having issues getting deliveries or getting stock in. So it could be something as complicated as trucking companies with driver shortages, or it could be something as simple as the local bakery not having delivery drivers because people are either sick and not coming into work or are looking for other jobs, so they've left that industry. Any of a number of things. But we do have a very touchy supply chain. So, Robert, I would say that your wife was correct up until last year, but not anymore. And on any given day, you may walk into the store and find that the brand of product that you've been buying for this particular thing for years just isn't there. I had that happen this week. My soda pop that I enjoy, not a single bottle on the shelf, nothing, completely gone. I didn't go to any other stores, so it could very well be that the Kroger had plenty and Publix had plenty, but this Walmart right here by me didn't have a bit. And that's not an isolated incident. I've seen it time and again since the pandemic. So good stuff, Robert. That is an excellent point. I think that you do need to change your approach and have some provisions and just be able to be the family that can tough it out if we need to. And it doesn't have to be comfortable. It doesn't have to be luxurious, but it does have to be self-sustaining. So I think that's the important thing. Atlanta 442, Craig in Ackworth. Can you tell me about your Go Box or your Bug Out Bag? All right, not hearing anything from Craig. I'm going to go ahead and show Craig as in and out. So we'll move on from Atlanta 442, and we will go next to Atlanta 252, Shad and Emerson. Shad, can you tell me about your Bug Out Bag or your Go Box or emergency communications plans?
Okay, Justin, this is a very, very, very good topic. We do live in the South. Somebody said they had a 30-foot bug-out box. We have a pair of them. We live in one. We have another one in storage, ready to go at a moment's notice. All we have to do is hook up, drop it down in the ball, and we're good to go. 312 does apologize, by the way, that she's not here. We got a sick granddaughter. She just did a pork drop. We don't know if they have COVID or not. But can swap back and forth in probably 2 or 3 minutes time. And as far as the food, we won't go there or to sell home defense type stuff. But we do have 2 beautiful German Shepherds and Belgian Malinois that are awesome security systems.
Yes, that's a great point too, because Shad, we have been here for 11 and a half years now, and in that time, many of my neighbors have experienced issues. My next door neighbor had a catalytic converter stolen from under her car while it was parked in her driveway. We didn't hear a thing. She didn't hear a thing. They came in, they took that catalytic converter out and left her with $1,100 in repairs to a vehicle so that they could get, I don't know what a catalytic converter brings as scrap, but just holy cow. We've had other neighbors with things missing off of their property, their front porch, flower pots taken, and just stupid stuff, really. And we have, in 11 and a half years, I'm going to knock on some wood right here, we have not had one single incident on this property. And I think that the reason why is because all of the neighbors around here know that we have dogs. And I think that's the deterrent right there. The dog is the security system. And for whatever inconvenience that they may offer in terms of additional house cleaning, and because they shed, and because they need to be bathed frequently, and we've got an issue in one of our rooms where the dogs have spent a lot of time where I can't seem to get the dog smell out of that room. So we're looking at deep cleaning and things like that to get the smell out. And what can we do to prevent that? So that's a challenge of having a dog, but the benefits are huge. And a German Shepherd and a Belgian Malinois there is no electronic security system that is going to be more effective at keeping your property safe than that. Whether you're home or not, that is the ultimate in home security right there, as far as I'm concerned. So, and yeah, the 30-foot bug out box, drop it on the ball. I like it. That's a great plan. I've always been reluctant to have a camper of that sort because just maintenance. It's the kind of a thing that if you can't store it under roof and protected from the elements, it seems to me that the weather just breaks those things down so fast that I just don't want to deal with having to take care of another piece of equipment on the property. So if it weren't for that, we'd probably have one. But we do all of our travel in hotels and Airbnbs anyway, so the camper's just not something that we're lifestyle-wise are gonna adopt to. But that is a great way to have your provisions kind of set in a way that you could you can stock your cabinets and cupboards in the camper with dry foods and canned goods that you can prepare quickly and easily without having to draw attention to the fact that you've got a large supply of food that would last for a few weeks. And really, I think that's really what you need, is something that's going to last for a few weeks. If you've got supplies that will last you for a few months, that's great. That's fantastic. I hope that you never need to use them, and I'm glad that you've got them available. But I really think that most of the problems that we might encounter are problems that will last for just a few weeks. And just like my issue with the store being out of my brand of soda, Diet Mountain Dew, they had other stuff there. I could have opted for something else, but in terms of the product that I wanted, that I choose to use regularly, it wasn't unavailable. Period. And so that's disappointing, and it's not what we expect today. Today we expect a much higher level of convenience and comfort, and for the most part we get it. So that's my situation. Is it's really just boils down to a matter of it was inconvenient for me not to have my brand, and it's really no more serious than that. But good stuff, Shad, and I think that's a good plan. This is the end of our list, so let's go ahead and take a break, see if we have any additional check-ins for North Georgia GMRS Regional Net. Net Control standing by.
420 with a quick comment.
All right, William, go ahead with your comment.
As a military person, part of a medical unit there, bioenvironmental always taught us one very important thing, which was your water supply. And whether it be flooding, hurricane, earthquakes, whatever it be there's an item that you could buy at Walmart for a couple dollars that could make the difference between keeping your family and neighbors healthy. And that's pool shock. Pool shock is calcium hydrochlorate. And compared to bleach, it has a 10-year shelf life, whereas a bottle of bleach might only have about a year shelf life. If you mix the calcium hypochlorite, which would be about a quarter ounce, to 2 gallons of water, you then have about 2 gallons of 5% to 60% bleach there. And then to purify water, you would only then need to put 1 ounce of water per gallon, or just a few drops for a glass there. And usually we can find some type of potable or some type of water source, and to make it potable, that's a quick way. And that little thing that you buy at Walmart is a little 1 pound bag there, and it's a 10-year shelf life. You can put them in little 1 ounce little jars for even travel if you go to countries where their water supplies are not that stable, like Haiti or other countries where water pathogens are really dangerous and can make a difference there. But if you got water outside of your home that's flooding around, and you've got no power to boil water, that's a great way of being able to take care of things. And yes, they have things like the Berkey filters and all that, but they're large, cumbersome, not easy to carry around. This is just for emergency water treatment, and we used to put them in litter bags to fill up our canteens with there. Over.
That is an excellent contribution to the net, even though it doesn't relate to radios directly. We still have to. Radio doesn't do us any good if we're not alive to use it. And water is probably the most vital resource in an emergency situation. So I think that's an excellent point to raise, and I'm glad that you made mention of it. And I'll tell you, it's not something that I've ever really considered. Pool shock. So you mix up a volume of water with the pool shock, but you don't consume that water. You use that to purify or to basically to kill pathogens in other bodies of water. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, you're making a bleach solution just like you're buying a bottle of Clorox. Just that one a little quarter ounce teaspoon there, mixed with 2 gallons of water, will make what you would call pure bleach, but it's usually about 5 or 6% of sodium hypochlorite is what you buy in the grocery store. And then then after you have that 2 gallons, it will treat that. But one little bag of pool shock will treat about 10,000 gallons. So you can imagine how much of a water supply that you can keep available there in an emergency situation there. So, but make sure you do read it, and it's on there, and you can research the information. There's some great videos that are on that they put out. So just pay attention to what you're doing there. You do not want to drink the bleach mixture you're making. You want to make the bleach and then treat the water then afterwards, after the fact there. And filtering is always important, running it through a rag or anything else like that to get larger particles out before treating it with bleach. And again, you're just talking about a few drops for a drinking cup and only about 1 ounce for an entire gallon of water to treat it for where it's considered potable water there. Over.
Very interesting stuff. And yes, I think that's a great thing to have in addition to the Berkey filters and things like that. But I think that you also need to have some filtering devices you know, so that you can have quick and readily available drinking water. So I think that's just one more tool to have and to be aware of. And like I say, I think that's a great contribution to the discussion tonight. All right, at this time, I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor for any additional questions, comments, and late check-ins. So anybody that has anything, or if anybody was missed along the way, I took a shortcut tonight. I like to read everyone's name through the list as we go through, and I do that for a couple of reasons. I think that, you know, it's kind of a big deal to hear your name called, and you know, to be participating at that level, and I think that's important. So I intend to, at the end of this, I'm going to go through all the names that we didn't call on. But so typically I do that, but I shortcutted tonight and skipped a lot of those just to save on time, because I am concerned, you know, if I do get that call and I have to bug out of here, I'm done for the night. You're not going to hear me back on the air. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But in any case, we're at a place now where we can go ahead and take any additional questions, comments. The floor is open. Late check-ins, welcome to call in. Net Control standing by.
This is Atlanta 825, WRNT 979, Don in Canton.
Sorry about that, YouTube.
This is 825.
McDonough 22 with an additional comment when you have time, Justin.
All right, Net Control is going to go ahead and acknowledge Atlanta 825, Don in Canton. Don, it's great to have you in here, and sounds like you're a new user. So welcome to North Georgia GMRS. And do you have a bug out bag or a go box for radio communications?
Good evening, Justin and the Net. Thank you. Yeah, so I have a different perspective. I mean, I would rather bug in than bug out. I certainly have bug out supplies, but I do also carry with me at all times. I carry a get home bag, which is a 25-liter bag with 3 days of emergency supplies. With also my HTs are with me at all times. I also have a car inverter as well as a backup battery pack with 20,000 milliamp hours and solar panels that I can deploy to charge my radio if need be. And then, of course, I've also got all the other stuff at home if I need it, such as water supplies, filtration devices, and thanks to the previous caller about the tip on the pool shock, that's very interesting to know. So yeah, I always have my HTs with me and a way to charge them.
Excellent stuff. Yes, and so the bug-in bag, the get-home bag, that is a great idea, and I think that's something that doesn't get talked about much. And I have minimal stuff that I carry when I'm in and out and about, and when I work in Midtown, I'm better prepared to stay than I am to go. But some things are going to change when I go back to Midtown in December. For one thing, I have no intention of getting on the bus again. The public transportation, I'm done with it. There's a number of things that I'd never liked about public transportation, and when I saw their response to how they handled things in light of pandemic circumstances, I thought, okay, well, this is all about just getting people on the bus, and they don't really care about anybody's safety. So I was never very pleased with how the buses were cleaned, and it's clear that they really haven't changed that. So I'm done with public transportation. I won't be riding the buses, the express buses into town anymore. So I'll be transporting myself in my own vehicle, and that'll give me the ability to carry some things that ordinarily I wouldn't be practical to take on the bus. So that'll be a nice change in terms of personal security in that regard. But Yeah, the bug-in bag. That's something I'm going to have to definitely take into consideration. And being from Indiana, that's something that we were always cautioned about, was that you should have provisions in the car, particularly in the winter. They recommended that you have some water, and some things like granola bars or candy bars or something with a lot of energy in it, so that if you get stuck in a car in a snowdrift overnight, that you have a way to survive the night. Um, our approach was that we need to be able to survive the night and the next day and the night after. Even though it's unlikely you would be that long, it's certainly not impossible. So, extra blankets in the vehicle, and minor food provisions, and plenty of water. So, then the challenge with water, and you get into an environment like that, is you've got to keep it from freezing. So you've got to keep the water, close to your body, if you don't have a way to provide heat in whatever space that you're in, probably a vehicle. So that's something that we have very often adopted and kind of abandoned when we came here, because winter is, if it snows, we're not going anywhere. We just don't go. One of the things that folks from the north like to point out is, we've got all kinds of experience driving in snow. We drive in snow all the time. Well, it's different here. When it snows here, you have snow that's falling onto pavement that hasn't been treated with salt and sand or calcium chloride beforehand. Whereas in Indiana, when it snows, we've got snow plows and salt trucks that are out while it's snowing, as soon as it's done snowing, and they're running until every road is clear. And they're putting down salt and sand as they go. So all this experience that northern people have at driving in the snow, they haven't really driven in the snow. They've driven on treated roads. You come down here and there's a snowfall and the roads aren't treated, it's a lot different. It's a lot different. So when it snows, despite all of my experience in driving in the snow and ice of Indiana, when it snows here, we don't go. And so in that regard, we've kind of gotten lax in terms of having supplies in the vehicle, because we don't intend to be out if that's going to happen. But maybe we need to reevaluate that position and consider the get home, the bug in consideration. That's a great thought. I appreciate you bringing that to us. Don, is this your first check-in with North Georgia GMRS?
It's actually my second. I was on last week's as well. And just to add to your comment, Justin, at the last ice storm, I work in Kennesaw, and so of course my employer waited until the last second to release everyone. I chose to stay, whereas those people who elected to leave ended up idling in traffic on 285 for 18 hours.
Mm-hmm.
My boss actually ended up sleeping in a Kroger halfway home. And so I would echo your sentiments. Stay where you're safe. People don't think of a car that's sitting out in the parking lot, if it has a full tank of gas, can run for 40 to 50 hours and be a generator for you to charge your devices, or warmth or something like that. And I'll end that there. Thank you.
All right. Well, that's great stuff, Don, and very good points. And yeah, sitting on 285, waiting for the weather to break and for the rescue to come and all of that. That's what my boss did. He was on 75, but it's the same scenario. And I think the lesson learned was very much that. Don't put yourself out there. It was too late. And I'll tell you what I've learned from that is that if the state of Georgia declares a weather emergency, I'm not going. I will stay here. And we've demonstrated over the last 2 years, nobody needs to go to the office if there's a weather emergency. That's not universally true. There are many positions that do require people to be there. But for the work that I do, I can do this work any place I can get a network connection. I can be at a restaurant, I can be at a hotel, I can be right here at this very desk where I have been for the last 2 years doing this work. So I don't need to be there to do my work. And if there is a weather emergency, you can count on one thing for sure. I'm not going. I'm not going that day. And if it's a 2 days or if it's a week or whatever it is, I will write it out from this desk and not that one. But good stuff. Don, I would invite you to take a look at your radio and see if you can find the programming for the Roger Beep and see if you can get that turned off for us. We would all appreciate that. But don't let that take away from. We appreciate your comments this evening and your participation, and would love to hear from you again. At this point, I'm going to take another break, and we're going to see if anybody else has any questions or comments. Oh, wait a minute, time out. I forgot. McDonough22 has a comment. So, Tim, what have you got for us?
Yes, Justin, this was kind of prompted by 420's comments on the pool shock thing, the treatment for the water, and that's an excellent idea. I'd never heard of that, so I'm definitely going to keep that in mind. But what I have done is online at some various different sites. I think one of them is patriotsomething.com. It's where I got my food supply at. It's supposed to be, it's like freeze-dried stuff that lasts 25 years. And I think I got about a 5 or 6 or 7 day supply of that. But the water treatment thing, they have straws. I think last time I looked, if I remember right, I think they're about the size of a cigar and maybe about 3 or 4 cigars length long. And you can take these things, and once you open them up, and you can drink any water through those straws, supposedly. If you're stuck and you have to drink out of a puddle of rainwater or a creek or a stream that you're not sure of, or, whatever, it will filter out all kinds of viruses, dirt, particles, and everything. And each straw is good for, I think, about 300 to 500 gallons, something like that. And they're very inexpensive, about $9, $10 a piece. So just to make sure, have access to drinking water real quick, and I'm not carrying around jugs of water with me, I have about 4 or 5 of those straws in my bug out bag. And that was my comment.
Yeah, and I completely agree. That's an important thing to have. The pool shock is a great idea, and I wouldn't discount that for a minute. But it's not practical if you're on the move, and whereas the straws definitely are. Now, for me to be on the move, that means I'm in a vehicle, so I could make up the pool shock and carry a couple of bottles of that to treat whatever water I encounter. But we've got the straws, and that's the primary plan. So, there you go. That's good stuff. And as I mentioned before, we could very well go on with a prepper topic for next week, and I think that there's a lot of us that would enjoy that subject. But I really feel like I want to avoid that. Primarily because I don't really care to reveal the extent of our provisions and our armament and things like that here, and I know that many others likely feel the same way, and I think there's a good reason for that. However, if that is a topic that all of us, many of us, would enjoy jumping into, nonetheless, make your comments on Facebook, and we'll take that into consideration. All things are on the table. The point of these nets are for the audience. It's not for me. So if that's a topic that you want, we'll definitely pursue it. But meanwhile, I'll be kicking around alternatives, and we'll see what we come up with. But I've really enjoyed this series of talking about base radios and mobile radios. And last week we talked about HTs, and this week we're talking about the bug-out bags, and talking about probably as much or more prepper stuff as we are bug-out radio equipment, but that's okay. In any case, we'll be looking at additional topics that we can kind of carry on for a sort of a mini-series style of format. And if that's something that you all enjoy, there again, say so in the comments. And if you have ideas for topics that you wish that we would cover and that we haven't yet, or things of that nature, definitely open to all of that. So I would just invite you to make comments on the Facebook post, or make new posts, or what have you, along those lines. And I guess that's really about all I have. So at this point, one more time, we're going to offer an opportunity for late check-ins and any questions or comments. Net control standing by. Last time around.
This is the RJE 398.
All right, we had some doubling going on there. I heard WRJE 398, and but there were at least 2 check-ins there, and that's all that I heard out of all that. So WRGE 398, if you would come first, please, and when that check-in is complete, would the other person come?
Hey, Justin, this is Steve in Roswell, Atlanta 299, WRJE 398.
All right, acknowledging Steve in Roswell, Atlanta 299. Great to have you in here. Other station, please come with your check-in now.
This is Chattanooga 100 with additional comments. You got a moment.
All right, Bob. Got your request for additional comments. Let me go ahead and grab Steve here real quick, and we'll come back to you. So if you don't mind hanging tight, Atlanta 299, Steve in Roswell. Do you have any bug out bags or go boxes for radio equipment that you'd like to talk about?
Well, most of my preparations is pretty much are focused around staying here. You know, when you start getting up in the years, 67 years old last week, and I'm not sure I'm going anywhere. But that being said, yes, I have a rig set up in a Gator case that has a TK8180 in it, and has a Yaesu 891 HF rig in it, and also an FT991 2-meter 440 HF rig in it, and it's all set up so I can put it in my 4-wheel drive Bronco, and I can certainly communicate. But the whole thing about going is you've got to get fuel and that type of thing. I do have a portable 28-gallon container that I keep full. Break there, but I usually keep an extra 28 gallons and plus maybe another 5 gallons of gas here and things like that. We have several emergency generators here that run off of natural gas, propane, or gasoline, and have some solar stuff as well. So, as far as bug out, if I have to bug out, I can certainly communicate. I'm not really prepared to for all the rest of it going out like that.
Yes, and that all makes perfect sense, and I kind of get what you're saying. You're a little bit older than I am, but the older I get, the closer I tend to want to stay to right here, and so somebody introduced the phrase earlier, bug in, and I like that because. If things get tough, I would really rather prefer to stay put than to get out. If I had to get out because the place were going to flood, and I'm way up on a hill, I don't think that's going to happen, but, all things are possible. If I had to leave, forest fire, earthquake, flood, something that I just don't foresee, the vehicles are equipped, and so that would be my communications tool there. I don't know that I would take the time to grab a bunch of stuff out of here to throw in the truck. And if I had a go box, it's one of those things that if I build a go box, I'm probably going to keep it in the truck, because if it's in here, I don't see myself stopping in the studio to grab things on my way out to the truck if there's a forest fire coming. We're going to have other priorities, and whatever's in the studio can be replaced. So It would be a shame, though. There's some cool stuff in here. But in any case, you know, the bug-in is the scenario that I would prefer to play. And if we didn't have to leave, if I could tough it out from right here, we could make do with a lot of things. And so, yeah, when it comes to cooking, I've got, we got 5-6 cans of propane gas here. I don't have a lot of gasoline. I have a bad experience with trying to store gasoline, so I don't keep any more gasoline on hand than I really need to. In fact, when we go get a can of gas for the lawnmowers and stuff like that, we empty the cans. There are no full gas cans on the property because, like I say, I've had bad experiences with trying to store gas. So we just make a point of not doing it. The other thing is, when it comes to gasoline for the small engines around here, I try to buy gas that doesn't have ethanol in it. We've got a couple of places around here that has the ethanol-free gasoline. So, but that's a topic for a whole other conversation. But good stuff, Steve. And yeah, to have the equipment around to be able to remain self-sufficient is I think a very important thing. So I like that term, bug in and stay put. And that's probably, like I say, as I get older, I'm more inclined to do that than I am to try to go anywhere. So good stuff, Steve. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and move on to Chattanooga 100 Bob in Ringgold and see what his comments are. Bob, go ahead.
Hi, thanks, Justin, and I hope I'm not. I wanted to get back to the guns versus food thing, and I don't want to bring anybody down or come down on anybody. I'm trying to uplift, and I hope I wasn't unclear. Personal responsibility, totally agree. Prepare for yourself. The two things that I wanted to say was is maybe prepare with your neighborhood. Different people have different talents, different resources, and things like that. So preparing beforehand is the way to go. I know that's really difficult. I say that, and I haven't done anything like that in my neighborhood. The other thing is, yes, absolutely personal responsibility. Prepare for yourself. Take care of your family. I'm going to break. And maybe a little extra. If the food hits the fan, as they say, and somebody comes here looking for help, I'm going to do what I can for them, based on resources. If somebody comes here with a gun, wanting to take everything, well, that'll be an interesting day. And I hope I never see that day. Because I don't know what's going to do. Anyway, just wanted to put that bug in people's ears. Again, I think this is a great community, and it's all about helping each other out. Yes, take care of yourselves, but maybe a little. Regarding, since this just came up, I'm going to break. With storing gas, I am going to share a little bit of my preparedness here at the house. I have a small inverter generator that's dual fuel, and I only run propane on it, so I never have to worry about the carburetor messing up. But, in the spirit of preparedness, I do have 3 or so cans of True Fuel, super clean gasoline, just in case I need to go beyond what I have in propane. So I just thought I'd throw that out there as an option for you, for people. If you run a gas generator especially with ethanol, by the time you need it, if it's just sitting around and gunking up, it's not going to work. But this is, I think, a good way to get around that. Over.
Yes. Well, I think that is a worthwhile sentiment. Take care of yourself, be prepared, and then do a little extra. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with looking out for the neighbor, helping out, coaching, offering some direction and guidance wherever you can and wherever it is received. That's the other side of things. Is some folks, are just not going to have it. But nonetheless, that is a good point. Everything for yourself, and then a little bit more. And that is kind of what the Bible teaches us. Is that we do need to stock up and be prepared for ourselves, and we also do need to look out for our neighbor. And so That is an excellent point. So thank you for that clarification. And yeah, the True Fuel stuff, I've looked at that, and I just, I don't know. I don't know that that's the route that I want to go. I think that I would rather stick with things like propane, and we've got natural gas on the property. It wouldn't be hard for me to plumb a natural gas line over to some of our outdoor kitchen stuff. However, I don't know how that works when the utilities fail. How long do you have natural gas? How does that system stay pressurized? What generates power and keeps those lines? Is it just static? Whatever's in the big round bulb tanks at the depot when you just have gas until those things run? I don't know how any of that. I don't understand the mechanics of that. So I like to have the idea of having bottles that I know what their state is. And there again, I don't feel like I need to be provisioned for 6 months. I think that a few weeks is enough. But I could be mistaken, and maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll regret that decision one day. But as time goes on, we do. It seems like incrementally accumulate a little bit more and a little bit more. Somebody mentioned the Patriot products. I don't know how much of that we have, but I do know that we have more than we did. And I think that can be the answer anytime that question's asked. If you ask me again in a month, we have more than we did. If you ask me that question in 6 months, it's still going to be the answer. So, and I guess that's part of it. You can accumulate the time that you have over time. You don't necessarily, if you decide that you want to be prepared for an emergency, it doesn't necessarily mean that, okay, well, I have to do this, and this, and if I don't do all of those things, then I'm still not prepared. You can work your way into it, and you can be prepared for a week first, and then you can be prepared for 2 weeks, and then you can be prepared for radio communications, and then you can be prepared for self-defense, and incrementally. You can do it piece by piece, and you can prepare for short term, and then contribute to that as you go, and turn that short term into a longer and longer term. So good stuff. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and end this one. We are not as late as we very often are, and tonight that's a good thing. It's been a very tough week, and I've got a lot of stuff going on personally, so I could use a little bit of a break. So I want to say thanks to everyone who has participated in tonight's net. And as promised, I'm going to go through and name off everyone who has signed in tonight one more time, and then we'll close the net. So this is Atlanta 947. Well, I don't need to do that. I'm just going to jump right into our first check-in tonight. Was Atlanta 285 CV Smith in Murrayville, in and out. Thank you, CV, for your check-in this evening. Atlanta 286 Lynn in Murrayville, in and out. Thank you, Lynn. Glad to have you along and listening. We have Chattanooga 69 Ronnie from the Lookout Mountain Machine. Ronnie is in and out tonight. Thank you, Ronnie, for your check-in. We have Atlanta 253 Donald in Blairsville. Donald is in and out tonight. Thank you, Donald, for that. We have McDonough 39 Bruce in McDonough is in and out tonight. Appreciate your check-in tonight, Bruce. We have Atlanta 180 Mike in Cherry Log was in tonight. Enjoyed hearing bits and pieces of your conversation, Mike. Wish we could have heard more. We have Atlanta's 403 Bobby in White County was in and out tonight. Thank you, Bobby. We have Atlanta 780 Houston in Powder Springs was in, but he has checked out early. But thanks for your comments tonight, Houston, and glad to have you along. We have McDonough 22 Tim in Stockbridge was in tonight and enjoyed your conversation and comments, Tim. Thank you for that. McDonough 32 Lance in McDonough was in and out tonight. Thank you, Lance. Atlanta 138 Robert in Auburn, probably still at band practice. Maybe he's finished, but Robert, thanks for taking us along to practice every week, and hope that your bandmates enjoy the program as well. And I never did look up Alfred. Alfred, I will do that as soon as we sign off. I can pull up your TAC number from last week's log or the week before. I know you've been checking in fairly regularly. I just don't recall what it is. Is is it Atlanta 20? No. I don't want to say the wrong number, so I'm going to wait until I can look it up. Atlanta 770, James in Ackworth was in and out. Thank you, James. Atlanta 402, Todd incoming, in and out. Appreciate that check-in, Todd. Ricardo in Snellville was in and out tonight. Appreciate your check-in tonight, Ricardo. Atlanta 810, John in Dawsonville, in and out. Hope the kids are feeling better. Atlanta 293, Russell in Buford was in and out. Thank you, Russell, for your check-in. Columbus 10, Brady in Columbus. I would love to have heard your comments, Brady. Maybe we can continue that conversation on Facebook. Why you think that HF is important in that scenario? Would love to hear your comments. Atlanta 721, David in Southwest Paulding. Thank you, David, for your conversation this evening. Atlanta 738, Carl in Ackworth was in and out. Carl, thank you for your check-in. Atlanta 516, Ray in Canton was in and out. Ray, it's always a pleasure to have you along. Hope you had a great lunch today with Atlanta 123. Atlanta 76, David in Duluth. David, hope that work is going well for you and that you're able to listen in and monitor. Atlanta 91, Eric in Maumelle, Arkansas. Eric, it's great to have you along. Look forward to hearing from you again soon. McDonough 22, Dan in Ackworth was in and out. Thank you, Dan, for your check-in. Atlanta 287, Trey in Murrayville, in and out. Thank you, Trey. Atlanta 750, Jeff in Waleska, in and out. Thank you for your check-in tonight, Jeff. Let me break. Atlanta 434, Ron incoming was in and out tonight. Ron, appreciate you checking in with us tonight. Chattanooga 58, Bill from the Lookout Mountain Machine was in and out. Bill, it's always a pleasure to hear from the Rocket Man. Enjoy our conversations through the week. And looking forward to the next one. Chattanooga 100, Bob in Ringgold. Bob, thank you for your comments and conversation this evening. It was great to hear from you. And Chattanooga 101, Tammy, also in Ringgold. Wish I would have heard your check-in, Tammy, but maybe we'll catch up with you next week. Thank you for your participation this evening. Atlanta 57, Andrew in Holly Springs, in and out tonight. Thank you, Andrew. Atlanta 220, Robert in Williamson, I believe, was also in and out. We didn't hear from Robert, so thank you, Robert, for checking in tonight. Atlanta 442, Craig in Ackworth was in and out. Atlanta 313, Jason in Rome, in and out. Jason, glad to have you along. Atlanta 420, William in Roswell was in and out, but had comments anyway. Appreciate your input tonight, William. Very constructive and helpful stuff. Atlanta 829, Lonnie in Powder Springs was in and out tonight. Thank you, Lonnie. WRNN 790, John in Griffin was listening in tonight. Checked in and out. Glad to have you along. We had Atlanta 252, Shad in Emerson. Appreciate your conversation tonight, Shad. We had Atlanta 825, Don in Canton. Thank you, Don, for your comments and enjoyed that very much. And we have Atlanta 299, Steve in Roswell. Let's see. Did I miss anybody? Net Control is going to take one quick standby, and then we'll wrap this thing up.
Justin, I thought I heard you saying McDonough 22, Dan in Ackworth, and I don't know who Dan in Ackworth is, but I know he's not McDonough 22.
Yeah, we have an Atlanta 22. Dan in Ackworth was in and out tonight. So appreciate that. We'll get that clarified. And with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Appreciate you guys giving me the early quit tonight. You don't know how much I need it. Been a tough week, and it's not over. But we're going to get through it, and I'm looking forward to visiting with all of you again next week. But this is going to conclude the North Georgia GMRS Regional Net. Easy for me to say. We had a total of 42 check-ins this evening. This includes myself. Net Control will be returning the repeaters back to normal use. Everyone who signed in should sign out. Thank you for allowing me to serve as your babbling fool Net Control this evening. Appreciate, folks, you appreciate your patience tonight and every night as I stumble through, mispronounce, and just basically stutter my way through this. But you guys are great to have as an audience. This is Atlanta 946, WQIR 514, and I will be clear. Let's see here. I need to wrap up the YouTube side of things. So, folks, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We a little unusual program. Hopefully, the video is good and the audio is better. We'll look forward to visiting with all of you again very, very soon. Tune in again next week, Thursday evenings at 7:30, and
Station with technical question. This is Atlanta 299.
hope to see you soon. WQIR 514, Atlanta 946, clear. Yeah, let's see. I'm in a little bit of a bind here because my buttons don't work the way I expect them to.
299, were you responding to me? Saturn is 100. I had a technical question about the link network that I noticed during the net tonight.